present you CSS technology. CSS is a cornerstone technology of the World Wide Web alongside HTML and JavaScript. CSS is the language that defines the presentation of a web page. It is used to add color, background images and textures, and to arrange elements on the page. However, CSS does a lot more than just paint a pretty picture. It is also used to enhance the usability of a website. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it is the language used to style the visual presentation of web pages. CSS is the language that tells web browsers how to render the different parts of a web page. CSS syntax is simple and includes selectors, properties, values, declarations, declaration blocks, ruler sets, @rules, and statements. Let's use a block of CSS to clarify its syntax. We will take an example from previous lesson in which we have introduced HTML and we will stylize paragraph P. Now we will start to write CSS code. To apply our HTML document, it is needed to connect HTML document with created CSS document. That it is going to be done by adding an element link to an HTML head attribute. Besides that, to this element, we are going to add an attribute href. The rel attribute specifies the relationship between the two documents, and in our case, the value is style sheet. Next to it, it is important to define attribute href. The href attribute specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. In our case, HTML and CSS document are located in same folder, and we only write the name of CSS file, which is style.css. In style.css write p, open curly bracket, color, colon, blue, semicolon. Set the font size to 24 pixels and text decoration to underline. In this example, P is the selector. The selector is followed by a declaration block that includes 3 declarations. Each declaration is separated from the next by a semicolon. The tabs and lines breaks are optional but used by most developers to make the CSS code more human-readable. By using P as the selector, we are saying that every paragraph on the web page should follow the declaration contained in the ruler set. The rule set contains 3 declarations: color blue, font size 24 pixels, text decoration underlined. Color, font size, and text decorations are all properties. There are literally hundreds of CSS properties you can use, but only a few dozen are commonly used. We applied the values blue, 24 pixels, and underline to the properties we used. Each CSS property is defined to accept values formatted in a specific way. For the color property, we can either use a color keyword or a color formula in hex, RGB, or HSL format. In this case, we use the color keyword blue. There are a few dozen color keywords available in CSS3, but millions of colors can be accessed with the other color models. We applied the value of 24 pixels to the property font size. There are a wide range of size units we could have used, including EM values, percentages, and more. Finally, we added the value underline to the property text decoration. We could have also used overline or line through as values for text decoration. Briefly, we have shown you what is CSS and how it is working. More details about this technology we will get to know when we start with a concrete project in coming lessons. Shortly, we will repeat. CSS can be used to turn an HTML document into a professional, polished design. Here are a few of the things you can accomplish with CSS. Create a flexible grid for designing fully responsive websites that renders beautifully on any device. Style everything from typography to tables to forms and more. Position elements on a web page relative to one another using properties such as float, position, overflow, flex, and box sizing. Add background images to any element. create shapes, interactions, and animations. That is everything for this lesson. See you in next chapter, where we are going to pass through the basics of web design. After that chapter, finally, we are going to start with practical work on our projects. See you soon.